On this edition of Beyond the Bubble, we'll take a look at how the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of same-sex marriage affects the Barrie community. The Ashley Madison scandal continues to unfold. We have more on this story. Donald Trump continues to make headlines. We have more on his latest controversial statement. See all of this and more on this edition of Beyond the Bubble.
Hello, and welcome to our first fall 2015 edition of Beyond the Bubble. I'm Eric Jackson.
And I'm Allie Pritchett.
Let's get you started with all the latest news from around the world. Kim Davis, the Kentucky clerk who was jailed for refusing to issue a same-sex marriage license, was released on Tuesday. Davis was arrested on September 3rd for contempt of court. She claims that issuing same-sex marriage license would go against her religious views. Her deputy clerk issued licenses in her absence. U.S. District Judge David Bunning ordered Davis's release on the condition that she is not to interfere with or prevent the issues of same-sex marriage license. Davis will soon return to her job as clerk in Rowan County, Kentucky. For more information on this story, visit CNN.com.
The impact of the Supreme Court ruling on same-sex marriage is still being felt across the country, including here at Barrie. Viking Fusion reporters Sarah O'Carroll and Michael Adams have more.
On June 26, gay couples around the nation celebrated the U.S. Supreme Court decision approving same-sex marriage.
Everybody I knew was glued to either a computer screen or a television screen, or I had the radio on. It was just such a moment of celebration, and I confess that I completely burst into tears.
Christina Bucher, Associate Professor of English, Rhetoric, and Writing, says she hopes that a positive result of the decision will be the normalization of same-sex couples on campus.
I do hope it's sort of, so-and-so has a picture of their same-sex spouse on their desk. It's no different than if, a straight person has a picture of his or her spouse on their desk as well.
Though this is a significant victory for gay rights, there is still a fair share of controversy. A Kentucky County clerk was jailed on September 3rd for refusing to issue licenses to gay couples. Kara Moss, senior and co-president of Listen, Barrie's LGBT organization, says that this is only the beginning.
I think the ruling may influence some people to maybe rethink their ideas about same-sex marriage, but it's not going to change everybody's mind. But it's a start. It's definitely a start.
Dr. Jonathan Huggins, chaplain of Barrie College and pastor of Mount Barrie Church, describes a positive response for those who might be struggling with the decision.
Evangelical Christians who disagree with the Supreme Court ruling, I think the best response there is, one is not to despair or to retreat or to keep a kind of culture war going.
Huggins says that the start for a healthy dialogue between the two sides is in the context of friendships.
Before we even start talking about issues where we might disagree, we should try to get to know each other and hear one another's stories and give each other the right, the opportunity, the freedom to share their story without fear.
Joshua Willis, a senior and second co-president of Listen, says the decision was an encouraging milestone, but a consequence to shining the spotlight on one issue is sidestepping other ones that are equally pressing.
Marriage equality advocacy is problematic for me because it is so single issue. It really ignores, over the last 2 decades, it has become the big gay rights issue, and it kind of eclipsed other ones that are less glamorous perhaps, but I definitely think are more important.
Willis says that though there is a ways to go, he's encouraged for the future.
I'm glad that it passed because, I do think that it's an important choice to have for, LGBT people, and, even though I might not agree with marriage in itself, I think that it's something that people can have if they want to. So I'm glad that happened. And also, I hope that now that we have this, finally achieved this, that we can move on to other issues.
With Viking Fusion News, this is Sarah O'Carroll.
Thanks, Sarah. In other news, the impact from the Ashley Madison hack continues to be felt. John Gibson, a pastor and professor at New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, committed suicide after hackers released his information found on Ashley Madison. Ashley Madison is a dating website for married people looking to have an affair. Its database was hacked and information about customers' names, addresses, and credit card numbers were released on the internet. On August 24th, 6 days after the release of this information, Gibson committed suicide. His family spoke to CNN on Wednesday after Gibson's death. Gibson's wife, Christy, said that he apologized in his suicide note. Christy Gibson said, quote, "What we know about him is that he poured his life into others, and he offered grace and mercy and forgiveness to everyone else. But somehow he couldn't extend that to himself," end quote. For more information on this story, visit CNN.com.
The presidential race is heating up. Republican and former governor of Florida, Jeb Bush, proposed on Wednesday to cut tax deductions for businesses. Meanwhile, Donald J. Trump continues to make headlines after insulting Republican candidate Carly Fiorina. During an interview with Rolling Stones magazine, Trump saw a clip of Fiorina on television. Trump then remarked, quote, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that, the face of our next president?" End quote. For updates on the presidential campaign, be sure to check out NewYorkTimes.com. Do you think it's appropriate for presidential candidates to make these kind of remarks like this?
Absolutely not. I believe if you're running for president, I think you should focus on the subject at hand and not focus on the other candidates. Be always mindful and pay respect to the other candidates.
I agree. I don't think it adds to anything at all.
Absolutely. A former ISIS slave came forward with her story on Wednesday. 16-year-old Zainat was captured by ISIS soldiers and forced into slavery. She was chosen to serve ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi while serving in his household. She met an American hostage, Kayla Mueller, and became friends with her. Mueller was taken hostage in 2013. ISIS released a statement in February of this year that Mueller was killed in an airstrike. According to Zainat, Mueller was raped by Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and was later forced to marry him. For more information on this story, visit CNN.com.
An advertisement in the ISIS online magazine Dabiq was published on Wednesday. The advertisement features two prisoners, each holding a sign that reads, "For sale." ISIS claims that these two men, one Norwegian and one Chinese, are hostages and will be released if the ransom is paid in full. Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg confirmed that a Norwegian man is being held hostage by what is believed to be ISIS. Ransom for the Norwegian prisoner has been demanded on multiple occasions by the kidnappers. Solberg stated that, quote, "This is a matter that the government is taking very seriously. We neither can nor will give in to pressure from terrorists and criminals. Norway does not pay ransom. This is a principle we cannot depart from in the face of cynical terrorists. Payment of ransom would increase the risk that other Norwegian nationals will be taken hostage." For more on this story, visit CNN.com.
All of us here at Viking Fusion News would like to express our deepest condolences for the families and victims of 9/11, an event that changed America 14 years ago.
And that's all we have for you tonight on Beyond the Bubble. For more news on Barrie, the Rome community, and beyond, be sure to stay right here. With Viking Fusion News, I'm Allie Pritchett.
And I'm Eric Jackson.
See you next time.